Hey, what's going on everyone, this is iReviews back with another video, and iOS 14.5 has finally been released to the public. After weeks and weeks in beta stages, we finally have the final version of iOS 14.5, which is packed with new features and changes. So in this video, we're going to take a look at more than 50 new features and changes that you will be able to find on iOS 14.5. We're going to talk also about battery life, performance, and bugs that you will find on iOS 14.5. Starting off, of course, with the biggest feature of iOS 14.5. Now you will be able to unlock your iPhone while wearing a mask, but of course wearing an Apple Watch as well. Going to Face ID and passcode under settings, you will find an option to unlock your iPhone with your watch on your wrist. Now your watch has to have a passcode, of course, connected via Bluetooth to your iPhone and connected to Wi-Fi as well. Then you will be able to use it to unlock your iPhone whenever you have a mask on. You will also be able to unlock your Apple Watch if you use a passcode on it with your iPhone, and you will get this notification whenever your Apple Watch is unlocked through your iPhone. There are a ton of new emojis on iOS 14.5. There are more than 200 new emojis, and you can see a few of them right here. So we have a heart on fire right there, new icons for the AirPods Max, and we have that's like steamy face, and there are a ton of them that have been updated, and of course a lot of them that are new to iOS. Going to our updates section on iOS 14.5, you will find a new screen here for the update. iOS 14. iOS is up to date. You will also find this basically on the Watch app. So if you have an Apple Watch, you will find a new update screen as well. So going to software update right here, you will find basically the same design as for iOS as well. And what is new with iOS 14.5 is that now you can also update via cellular data. Now that's only available on certain regions. Hopefully that will be available everywhere, but for now it seems to be only on certain regions. So you know that you cannot do that. Basically iOS or even the carriers don't allow you to do that, because whenever big updates come out, those carriers will just be flooded with the requests to download their updates on iOS. So basically that will take a lot of bandwidth. So that has to be regulated. Maybe it has to be like a paid subscription or something like that. But in certain areas, we had reports that now you can update via cellular data. There are changes for Siri as well. Now with iOS 14.5, when setting up a device, you will get 4 different voices from which you can pick from when actually setting up Siri. You don't have to go with the default one. Other changes on Siri, we have new commands. You can now call emergency with Siri, and you will get also a new interface there. So let's just try it out. Call emergency. And you can see this new interface right there as well. Also, you will get a new interface on Siri if you use Type to Siri. So let's just go ahead and find Siri here and enable Type to Siri, and you will see a new redesigned interface, which I really like. It's much better than the old one. When first opening the Find My app on iOS 14, you can see right here we'll get a new splash screen. So what's new on Find My? Support for accessories, you will have improved notifications and Find My network. And of course, finally you can find items. There is a new tab on iOS 14.5. So let's just move to the Find My app. When opening the Find My app, you will find now a new section for items. From here, of course, you can swipe up to add an item right here or identify a new item. So this is really cool. If you want to use now the new Apple tags or something like that, you will be able to do that with the default app of iOS, which is of course Find My. On the iMessage app, when you don't have anything typed, you can see that the send button will be faded out. Of course, it will come to life once you type something. Also, there's a new interface if you're trying to send voice messages with Siri. So let's just try it out here. Send a voice message to test.
Okay, recording.
Hello. And you
Great.
can see right there, there's the new interface for sending voice messages with Siri. So that's really cool and more compact than the old one. on the Reminders app, you now will be able to actually sort reminders, and that's very useful. You tap the three dots right there, and you can sort reminders by date, by creation date, priority, title. Of course, you will have here the manual option as well. There are a lot of changes also on the music app. Apple has done a lot here. So we have like swipe gestures now and all that stuff. So let's just try some. So first of all, we have here a little button that indicates that these songs are actually downloaded on the device. You will now have swipe options. So if I swipe like this, I can cue next or cue later. I can go ahead and swipe like this to delete this song, or if I just 3D touch here and I try to delete, you can see that the delete button, now it's red. It used to be white, it's now red. When you go to different albums, you can see that now Apple will show you all kinds of different informations regarding that album. It shows the date, when it was released. You can see right here the songs, the minutes, everything will be right there. And you will also get a new like pop-up animation when 3D touching on any of the songs on Apple Music, which is actually really cool. Now, one thing I do like is that if you're playing a song that has like a long title, now the scrolling animation is back. It used to be before on iOS, Apple had removed it, and now it's back with iOS 14.5. Going to the App Store, you will notice that when you go to the search section, now you will have ads showing at the top of the suggested list right here, which is new, of course, with iOS 14.5. Moving on to the News app, this also has been updated and it has some tweaks on the UI. First of all, the News app now supports spatial audio with iOS 14, which is really cool. And you will have here News Plus, which now shows all kinds of different categories right there at the top. So you will have For You, you will have Featured, and you will also have here all kinds of different categories you can change from, which is actually really awesome and makes it very easy for you to actually discover any news that you need to know about. So you will have all kinds of different categories right there, and you have also a search section. Now this is a totally new search section for News app. Basically, you can go ahead and search for anything you want, any news you want directly from here, which is again very useful. If you're trying to find any specific news, you can do that from here. We'll have channels, you will have topics as well, and of course you can go ahead and browse from here. Moving on to the podcast app, there are a lot of changes here as well. So Apple has really paid attention to the podcast app, and it has quite a lot of tweaks. So right here we'll see new icons. We have the saved section right here with a new icon. We have the downloads right here, which is really cool. So a dedicated section for the downloads right there. Now if you go to any of the podcasts that you have here and tap on it, you will see a new interface right here, and it also shows you now here. You can see in this case it shows weekly. It shows basically how frequently these episodes are being released from this podcast, which again is really cool. You will have the search section right here, and now you have categories just like you do on Apple Music. Now with podcast you will find categories as well, so of course you can browse any one of them you want. If you have an Apple Watch, then you will notice a few changes on the Watch app as well. First of all, going to sounds and haptics, you will find here headphone safety, and you can enable headphone notifications for the Apple Watch. You will notice right here also changes on the icons on the tabs, and going to discover, you will notice here there's a new screen. Basically you can see a lot of different tips and tricks and user guides and all that you need, of course, for your Apple Watch, health and fitness as well, and of course explore watch apps. That of course takes you to the App Store, from where you can download certain apps for your Apple Watch. There are a few changes on the Maps app as well. Now you will have a new interface for collections on the Maps app, and you will also have the ability to report accidents, hazards, and speed checks from the Maps app on iOS 14.5. And with Game Center, when now you sign in into Game Center on one of your games, you won't get a normal banner just like you get with the notifications, but you will get this much slimmer banner. Now there were rumors that with iOS 14.5 you will actually be able to select your default music player. That's not the case, and this has been confirmed by Apple as well. when asking Siri to actually play a song, it might ask you, it doesn't do that all the time, but sometimes with which music service you want to play it, but that's not where you pick your default music player, and that's not coming with iOS 14.5, and I don't believe it is coming on iOS 14, hopefully with iOS 15. And with iOS 14.5, now the new anti-tracking feature is official. So you go to settings, you go to privacy settings, and you go to tracking. Right here you will find allow apps to request to track. If you enable that, then the apps will have to ask you before they can track you. And you will see right here the list of all the apps that have done that. And of course, if you allow them to track you, you will have these enabled. And of course, you can change these anytime from these settings. So you can switch them on and off, whether you want to leave an app to actually track you or not. On 14.5, when you go to add a widget to the home screen of your device, you will notice now the add widget button has been redesigned, it has been tweaked a little, and now it has more rounded corners. When going to settings and going to the Safari settings, you will now find a new option here for privacy preserving ad measurement. You can enable that or disable it from here. Though of course other changes and features that Apple has added with iOS 14.5 like dual SIM 5G, which has been enabled. Apple Fitness now supports AirPlay 2, Series X controllers and PS5 controllers now are supported with iOS 14.5. There are a few changes on iPad as well. With iPadOS 14.5, you will basically get most of these features, but you will also get now the option to actually search for emojis, and the Apple icon will show on the horizontal mode if you have your your iPad on the horizontal mode. And now let's move on to battery performance and whether you should update or not to iOS 14.5. When talking about battery life, I'm actually surprised. iOS 14.5 doesn't have that good of a battery life. I tried it on my iPad Pro, I tried it right here on the 12 Pro Max. It is not terrible, but it's not as good as I believe it should be, being iOS 14.5, and I don't even believe this is the best battery life we got on iOS 14. 14.3 was way better in my opinion, and of course in my case, whatever I've done trying on different devices until now, 14.3 was the best one, and iOS 14.5 I believe falls a bit short of that. Now when talking about performance, of course it is great. I cannot actually complain anything. I didn't have any like major bugs, any like glitches or stuff like that, the device freezing or something like that. Of course this is a new device and this update of course is 14.5 and you can expect that, but it's actually pretty good. Now there are bugs as well, some bugs that I have noticed right here. One of them that is actually really annoying to me, when I go to set a wallpaper, you can see that the home screen wallpaper right there is blurred. I don't know why is that happening, and it doesn't show at all the battery widget that I have here. You can see battery widget, it doesn't appear right there at all. Another one that's really annoying, when I go to the app library, a lot of times the keyboard won't show at all and I have to go out of the app library and go back into it to actually show the keyboard. Of course these are bugs that hopefully will be fixed maybe with 14.5.1, but they are kinda annoying. Now whether you should update or not to this software, of course you should. It has a lot of great features. A lot of people have been expecting for this update for weeks now, and I suggest you go ahead and not just for the new features and changes, but for the security and all the fixes that this update brings, you should update to iOS 14.5. Now as for the next update, we probably will see a new beta from Apple coming really soon, and of course we will have to wait for iOS 14, actually iOS 15 beta 1, which is coming in like 2 months from now. So that's basically it for this video guys. I hope you enjoy iOS 14.5. We have waited quite long for this, so I hope you enjoyed it. Go ahead, leave a like on this video, subscribe for more. I have a few more iOS 14.5 videos coming out which are really cool, so make sure to subscribe for those, and I will see you on the next one.